Slurred octaves are one of my favourite warm-ups because they tick so many boxes. And they can be done from a very, very early stage in your flute playing. So once you've managed to get into the middle register, you can start to practice these straight away, right through to advanced players and professionals as well, just as a brilliant warm-up to get you in shape for your practice or your performance that you're going to be doing. So I think we're going to talk about 4 aspects of them today. It's the tuning, and the fact that they develop your aural skills as well. Your target practice, where to aim the air, for flexibility, and also for the efficiency of your air as well, so that you're not losing extra air as well. So brilliant for all of these points. Let's take them one by one. Tuning, I would use a tuning app. There are lots of them that you can download for free, or you might have a tuning machine as well. This just means that you can check that you are hitting the notes in exactly the right place with the right amount of ear pressure as well, so that, and also you begin to hear what the perfect octave is, so that you then understand that interval in your playing. Make sure that your flute is lined up correctly and that you have taken some time to establish a good embouchure in relation to the lip pleat. If you're too rolled in, you're going to end up with a short octave. But your tuning machine will find that for you, and you'll know that there's a problem there as well. Conversely, that if you're too far turned out, or if you're not using enough airspeed or whatever. Okay, target practice. I just want to explain a little bit about this, how I visualize these slurred octaves. If you look inside the lip plate of your flute, and the inside your head joint, inside the embouchure hole, there's a little surface that's about, between half a centimetre and a centimetre long. That's your riser there. And this is where we aim the air so that it splits here and it goes down the flute and splits, and the sound is made there. Now, if you can imagine that the low notes in the flute live right at the bottom of the riser and the high notes live at the top of the riser, this will help you just to visualize where you're directing the air. As well as that, I know that we talk about air speed, we've got to use faster air for the high notes. I quite like to think of the higher notes almost living further away. So obviously you're going to have to blow faster air or have more pressure behind the air to get to hit that point. And the low notes live very close to where you're blowing here. So you have this arc that goes out. So your low notes are down here, your high notes are up here, but at the same time you're blowing further away there as well. So when we practice our slurred octaves, we really begin to fine tune where each of these octaves sit on our flute as well. Okay, how do we do that? How do we change the angle of the air? We do this with flexibility, and flexibility with our bottom jaw. If you have a look at the video about the Numo Pro, even if you don't have a Numo Pro, which is a great gadget, you can see it's a great way of visualizing how we do this and really making sure that our jaw moves, bottom jaw moves forwards and backwards in order to move the airspeed. We've all done this before, I'm sure, but your hand out in front of your face, blowing onto your hand, and then taking the air up and down your middle finger. You don't need a huge movement for it, but if you're practicing this exercise, you maybe want to exaggerate that as well. So that's your bottom jaw, your top lip and top jaw staying fixed, your bottom jaw to change the angle of the air, okay? So this move comes exactly at the point where you speed up the air, or in other words, you send the air further away. And this is where the two things need to come together at exactly the right point. So if I can just show you, for instance, if I'm on a low F, let's just bring that in a bit. I'm trying to make the move as smooth as possible. Possibly when you're first taught this, and correctly so, I do this too, is we try to get players to really give an extra push to speed up the air, and we get this. Because it helps us get up there, almost like bouncing on a trampoline to get up to the next octave. But as we become more considerate about our technique, we want to make that move very, very smooth. And the changing of the air direction comes at the same time as us moving the air slightly faster. And that takes practice. Of course, it's different for every note as well. So. If you're a beginner. If you've got that third octave in your repertoire, you can do all three together. If you're blowing in exactly the right place, you don't need to blow hard. You can use exactly the right amount of air. Sometimes I talk about it in miles per hour. So let's say your bottom octave, you're blowing at 20 miles an hour. Your middle octave, you only need to blow at 40 miles an hour. You don't need to blow at 42 or 45 or 37. We need to get it at 40. So we're looking for exactly the speed of air that we hit it at. So do be careful when you're moving between the octaves. Once you get that note to sound, and it's beautiful and sweet, don't blow any harder. So the temptation, of course, to get up there. Test yourself, see if you can just balance on that top note with the optimum amount of air. And that way, there's our fourth point. We become very efficient with our air. So we don't need to use more air to play these top notes than is necessary. Find out where your sweet spot is, and then you can stick to it. Then of course you can practice adding in dynamics and doing articulations with these octaves as well. You can extend them in whatever way. But these principles hopefully will help you visualize why these slurred octaves are such a good idea to start your practice.